Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under with the top 10 upcoming open world games of 2017. State of Decay 2 is a zombie survival game developed by Undead Labs and be published by Microsoft. It's a sequel to the 2013 game State of Decay, which received positive reviews from critics and fans alike. State of Decay 2 hones in on the zombie aspect, and like DayZ and the such, Decay 2 is played from a third-person perspective. Now, the game is set in an open world environment and features cooperative gameplay with up to 3 other players. Now, graphics wise, the game is being developed using the Unreal 4 engine, which will be a massive step up over the original State of Decay, as that game was released in 2013. Now, details for a release are a little bit sketchy. We know it's going to be released for the PC and the Xbox One, and it's sometime in 2017, but a date hasn't been announced. Agents of Mayhem is an action-adventure game set in the Saints Row universe, developed by Volition for the PS4, PC and Xbox One. Now, despite being the same universe, it's a completely different type of game, straying away from the gangster theme and in general the whole Saints Row vibe. Agents of Mayhem is played from a third-person perspective, where you can control 3 agents in-game, swapping between them on the fly. Each agent has a unique playstyle, and with there being 12 to choose from, there will be a ton of variety. Despite its differences to its older brother, Agents of Mayhem will still focus on the fun and wacky aspects of the Saints Row universe. However, the storyline is very simple, the Mayhem members trying to stop the terrorist org Legion from destroying the world's nations. A lot of people wanted a new Saints Row game, however we have Agents of Mayhem. I'm honestly not sure what to think about this game, it really could go anywhere. Post your thoughts in the comment section below. Lost Soulside is a one-man project from developer Bing Yang. According to him, LSA is an action RPG game with a fantasy art style, something like combining Final Fantasy with Ninja Gaiden. It's made in Unreal 4 and it looks absolutely amazing, even better than games which have multi-million-dollar budgets and massive production teams. Gameplay wise, it looks quick and frantic, reminiscent of Devil May Cry with a prominent combo meter and bloody battles. Bing has announced this game will be a PS4 exclusive, though when this game is coming out is still unknown. Honestly, Lost Soulside is looking to become a sleeper hit of 2017, and it will be interesting to see where this game goes. It will also be interesting to know if you guys are enjoying this video. If you are, consider dropping a like rating and subscribing. Crackdown 3 is an action-adventure game for the PC and Xbox One. Continuing the series 7 years after the release of 2010's Crackdown 2, the third title focuses on mass-scale destruction that enables everything in the game to be destroyed, which is done by cloud-based calculations. Besides this, not much is really known. The game was officially revealed during Gamescom 2015, and in that press conference, it was really focused on that cloud-powered real-time destruction that I talked about before. It was also stated that this technology would go and provide 20 times more power than playing the game on a single Xbox One console. Now, because of this game's reliance on this type of destruction engine, the full-scale destruction will only be available in the game's online multiplayer modes, while the campaign mode, regardless of how many players are in it playing with you in the campaign section, will only have access to limited degrees of destruction. Horizon Zero Dawn is an action role-playing game developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony for the PS4. Players take control of Aloy, a hunter and an archer, as she progresses through a post-apocalyptic land ruled by robotic creatures known simply as machines. Now, the machine components, such as electricity and the metal they are composed of, are very vital to Aloy's survival, as she can go and loot their corpses to find useful resources for crafting. Now, in-game, you explore a completely open world in that post-apocalyptic setting I talked about. Now, the world is divided into tribes that hold side quests to accomplish while the main story guides you through the entire world. Horizon Zero Dawn won the award for the best original game at the Game Critics Award in 2015 and 2016, so obviously there is a ton of hype around this game, and saying that, it's scheduled for release on the 28th of February in 2017. Squadron 42 is an offshoot of the Star Citizen universe, and it's a single-player campaign that can be played offline. Squadron 42 will be released in 3 episodes, the first of which will become available sometime in 2017. Now, saying that the rest 2018, possibly later. The reason why: the first episode will have over 70 missions, which will total up to like 20 hours of gameplay. Then you have to go and say, okay, that's a lot of stuff. You gotta go and space them out a little bit. You gotta let people actually play out the game. So with that said, Squadron 42 really high on the content. In addition to the space combat simulation and the first-person shooter elements that we've seen time and time again with Star Citizen, it has been reported that features that are exclusive to Squadron 42 include a conversation system that will affect relationships with non-player pilots and an optional cooperative multiplayer mode. That sounds really weird, and we'll have to go and see what that entails later on in the future. One important detail is the cast for Squadron 42. I generally don't talk about it much in my top 10 videos, but I'm making an exception today because damn, you've got some really big names for this game. You've got Gary Oldman playing Admiral Urs Bishop, Mark Hamill as Lieutenant Commander Steve Oldman Colton, and many more. Mass Effect Andromeda is an upcoming action role-playing third-person shooter developed by BioWare and published by EA for the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. The game begins within the Milky Way galaxy during the 22nd century, where humanity is planning to populate new homeworlds in the Andromeda galaxy as part of a strategy called the Andromeda Initiative, hence the name of the game. The player assumes the role of either Sarah or Scott Ryder, and from there you continue the game solely as that character. Launching into the game, the scene is set as Ryder, who is an inexperienced military recruit, joins the initiative and wakes up in the Andromeda galaxy following a 600-year journey. Now, Mass Effect Andromeda will have a less weighty feel than other installments in the series. It has open world elements and places an emphasis on exploration. Now, many of the series' traditional combat elements will obviously remain, while others have been slightly modified, such as the combat, which is less cover-based and more mobile. That's really good for people that just want to get up and really just play the game instead of trying to go and play a little bit more tactically, but for old guard of the series, that might be a little bit worrying. However, similar to its predecessors, the game features a massive dialogue tree, massive choices, romantic relationships with companions, and cooperative multiplayer. But the game is not trying just to be a simple carbon copy Mass Effect game. Now, one example of this is through moral choices. In previous games, it was fairly clear cut where it was right and it was wrong to go and do a decision. However, in Andromeda, it seems like the line has been blurred, and thus the experience each player will have is truly unique because you have to go from your gut instinct. A release date has been confirmed for the 21st of March for North America and the 23rd of March for EU. Metal Gear Survive is an action-adventure game developed by Konami Digital Entertainment. Now, one significant point I want to get right off the bat is that Survive is the first Metal Gear game to be developed since Hideo Kojima's departure from Konami in late 2015. The concept is rather simple. Mother Base gets teleported to an alternative reality with zombies, and they want to go and get back. In an interview, the development staff has stated that the player will be able to customize their character, use multiple weapons, and develop their own equipment to suit their own playstyle. Now, it's also said that the stealthily maneuver around enemies when playing solo is a very good idea, because in co-op multiplayer, mowing down tons of zombies is a relatively easy task, but taking down tons of enemies solo, a little bit more difficult, so taking the stealthy approach is still a very viable option. The community's reaction was extremely negative, and most regarded the game as just a generic zombie game using the Metal Gear name. Even series creator Hideo Kojima, who is not working on this title as I said before, said that Metal Gear is about political fiction and espionage, and zombies don't fit into the vision of this series in any way, shape or form. Now, despite this response, I'm still putting it on the list because a ton of people will be eagerly waiting for this game, so hopefully for them it turns out good. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is an action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo Switch and the Wii U. Now, Breath of the Wild departs from most games in the Legend of Zelda series as it has that open-world environment with less emphasis on defined entrances and exits to areas. Now, as per the series standard, players of course control Link, not Zelda, and of course as Link you can go and do all the normal Legend of Zelda stuff like jumping and climbing and eating and hacking and slashing at people and whatnot. I don't want to go and talk about that. I want to go and talk about the performance of this game because it's really unique. It's being developed on the Switch and the Wii U. Now, the Wii U version of the game runs at the 720p resolution at 30 frames per second. The Switch version has high quality environmental sounds and runs at 900p resolution at 30 frames per second when docked. Now, when in tablet mode, the game runs at 720p. Now, regardless of the resolution, Breath of the Wild looks like an absolutely amazing game, and it's being called the Skyrim and Zelda love child for good reason. For this video, I have two honorable mentions. That is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands and Destiny 2. The reason why I'm not including them in the list, I've already gone and talked about them before on one of my other lists, and if you want to go and see that, that's my top 10 upcoming first-person shooters of 2017. A link will be in the description below, and also it is in the playlist. But saying that, Wildlands, in the middle of this really war-torn country, you're fighting against drug cartels, you've got massive weapons, you can go and customize, you've got all these vehicles. It really is taking that Tom Clancy badassery and taking it to the open world. Now, Destiny 2, we don't have too much information about that game at the moment, but it's scheduled to be released in 2017. A ton of hype around it, and honestly, I can't wait for it as well. Now, coming in at the number one spot, of course, we have Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, to be honest, we don't know much about this game. It's, of course, an open-world Western action-adventure game developed by Rockstar Studios for the PS4 and the Xbox One, and it has a cool trailer. But saying that, we have a little bit of extra juicy info that I dug up last night. Red Dead 2 might be coming to the PC. The reason being that the digital rights manager Denuvo Software might have gone and leaked plans for a new Rockstar PC release. Now, Denuvo, they only do PC games. Rockstar's only in development with Red Dead Redemption 2. At the moment, you just put those two and two together, it gets spicy, and I am really hyped. And in general, the hype is insane for this game. It took out the number one spot in my top 10 most anticipated upcoming games list, which you can watch in the top right hand corner or the description below or in that playlist. But going back on track, it is hard to go and understate how excited people are for this game. At the moment, it's looking like a 2017 release. It's really on track for 2017, but who knows, Rockstar might go and delay it because in their mind, getting the best game out is the most important thing, and they have the prestige, they have the reputation for producing the best games in the world. So honestly, if it is delayed, I don't think too many people would be disappointed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to go and give it a like rating and also go and subscribe to my channel. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, out.